since we're gonna be in quarantine, one of the best things that I can do for myself is to learn new skill sets. Since I can't be climbing and I know I miss it, and I know I want to train for it, but at the same time, I want to set some goals for myself and I want to learn some new skill sets and I want to be able to measure the progress as well. So this is what I'm going to do, you guys. I'm going to be doing a series of me learning new skill sets throughout this quarantine. And we're going to start off with the muscle up. I'm going to share with you guys my game plan and my progression from it. One of the things that I wanted to avoid is to try to do the muscle up every day, every single day. I didn't want to do that. There was so much more I wanted to strengthen and learn before I try to do the muscle up. Obviously, I wanted to know how my first attempt was, and here it is to share with you guys how I first tried it. Now let's talk about my game plan. What exactly am I gonna do if I'm not gonna try the muscle up every day? This is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work on my strength that's required so I can be able to do my technique that I need. So I'm gonna have strength and technique. First, I'm gonna focus on my strength training, which, you know, the muscle up requires the pull up, the dip, and it requires strengthening your false grip, because without the false grip, you can't do the muscle up. What I would do is work strengthening my false grip. So I wanted to get familiar with the false grip. And one of the first things that I started doing is just to hang. I just wanted to get used to this grip, because even just hanging, it's a tough grip. It's uncomfortable at first. So I spent my day just working on it, also getting used to the rings. Once I started feeling comfortable hanging on it, I would start pulling on it. So I would start working on my pull-ups with the false grip. And then once I started strengthening my pull-ups, I would work on my dips as well, strengthening my dips. That was my foundation. Now I do want to share with you guys that I had been training prior to trying the muscle up. So as you can see here, I'm training with my friends during quarantine, and my upper body has already felt pretty solid. So I had a really good foundation to work with. Once I felt comfortable, I would work on my transition, which is my technique. Within my technique, what I was gonna do is just to be comfortable on the rings. I just wanted to spend my day working on the rings. I wanted to get used to it. I wanted my body to be familiar with it. And also work on the most difficult part, which is the transition here. This part was tough. It's so weird. And I knew I had to do it a lot in order to get familiar with it. It would throw me off. Like, the first thing I would do is try to jump to the transition, but it didn't feel right. And my elbow's starting to hurt, so I had to stop that. So then I had to do a really small progression towards it. So I brought my rings down and I started using my feet as assisted, and I just want to get used to that motion. Like, what exactly am I doing? What feels easier? What feels harder? So I wouldn't do that. And I learned a lot just from this transition. Just this technique itself, I learned so much. And I gotta mention, this is the key, learning the muscle up, for sure, without a doubt. I got so close. I got so close. It was late at night and I was getting excited, but I needed a rest at that point. I actually filmed it. I posted on Instagram, and thankfully I did, because I got a comment that actually helped me make the transition. One of the keys that he mentioned is to keep my elbows close to my body. And at that point, I remember reading it and I was like, you know what? It makes sense, because if my elbows are out, I'm pressing down. So I was like, if I keep it in, I come out. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'll do an illustration of it. Notice the difference between the left side and the right side. On the left side, I notice that when my elbows are out, I get stuck. I can't go further from there. I get locked in. And on the right side, I can continuously pull back and do the transition from there. Something that's helped me so much that I want to point out as well is this. When I'm pulling, I never stop pulling. And as I'm turning, I'm still pulling down on the rings no matter what. So my goal is to do this transition all together. Pulling and going over the rings simultaneously. So I noticed the big difference and I was like, you know what? I just needed to focus on my elbows, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And here's my attempt. Afterwards, I was like, you know what? Let's see how long it takes me for a slow muscle up, because I believe I do have the strength for it, but the transition, I gotta work on it still. So I was close. I was really, really close. So at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a rest the next day and then try it the day afterwards. So it's been about a week now and I'm gonna try it right now. So I'm a bit nervous. We'll see. All right. First attempt. All right, re-chalk. Ah, come on. Come on. Yes. I got stuck. I did the freaking slow muscle up. I could not. I was like, what? Like, oh my God. I'm still shocked, but I'm excited to learning my next skill set. You guys, make sure you subscribe so you can follow along and learn with me as well. Also, I want to thank my Patreons a lot for supporting my work. Thank you guys so much. Highly, highly thankful for you guys. If you want to support my work, I'll leave a link in the description below. Please do become my Patreon. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.